It's our honor to have with us Mr. Kimmo Ladovirta, Ambassador of Finland. Can you please give a big hand for him, everyone? Sir, a very warm welcome to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this session. Your Excellency, it is a pleasure to host you today for this session, and I'm glad that you could take out time. I understand that we are sitting between your lunch and this session, so we will make it as exciting as possible. And as you can see on the screen on the name, I'm here to add some diversity to this panel, which was earlier supposed to be moderated by my director, but due to some last-minute meeting, I'm here to moderate it instead. What we will do is, sir, we will start with a quick introduction, and then I would like to understand from your perspective about the innovation ecosystem. But here is it for everyone, right? We know that India is home to about 150,000 startups, and innovation today is not confined by geography alone. In fact, as we aim to create global champions in AI, green energy, digital health, deep tech, the need for cross-border partnership is at the highest right now. And I'm sure some of the startups out here today would want to expand their footprints in other countries. With that, I'm glad that today we are joined by none other than His Excellency himself, Kimmo Ladovirta, who has been the ambassador to Finland to India and previously Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives and Sri Lanka. We're so glad, sir, you're here with us today. Our discussion today will unfold organically around the opportunities, enablers, and future pathway for collaboration so that everyone out there can benefit. With that, sir, my first question to you is that Finland and India have a long-standing bilateral ties, and the startup space is incredibly vibrant, but also a little volatile. Could you highlight on some recent initiatives or success stories that reflect the growing collaboration in the innovation and entrepreneurship space?
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction and interesting starting question. I hope we also get the other panelists, because otherwise there's not going to be much discussion, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for the first question. And really, I think it's a fact that startups now play a pivotal role in the talent mobility ecosystem between our countries. Currently, both India and Finland share a unique conjunction of a dynamic startup landscape. And actually, Finland is home to over 4,000 startups. We also have a global platform called the Slush, for example, which is one of the world's leading startup events, attracting over 25,000 visitors annually. And for example, last year we had more than 30 Indian startups at Slush as part of 3 different delegations from Startup India, Kerala Startup Mission, and also from Tamil Nadu. And really, Indian startups have also participated in other Finnish accelerator programs, like the Slush events here in India, for example, Sisu Launchpad in Helsinki capital region, Boost Turku, 90-day Fin program, Polar Bear Pitching, and Experience Tampere. And really, one of the nice things is that this year India had its first ever polar bear pitching event here in Delhi in January at our embassy, where the founders pitched while standing in icy cold pool of water following the Finnish tradition. And the winner, Managing Director Devan Chandrasekharan of Fuselage Innovations, later participated in the global event which was held in Oulu in Finland in February. So I believe that such collaborations do open doors for Indian entrepreneurs and professionals to explore new markets, access funding opportunities, and also benefit from Finland's supportive business environment. So, thanks.
Thank you, Excellency. I really like the example that you shared of the startup taking the stage at the global world. With that, it is my pleasure to invite you, Bernard. He's the head of the Economic Department, Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in India. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. So, Bernard, my next question is to you. The idea for here, for the audience is to learn about global innovation, about how cross-collaboration opportunities could be expanded. So with that, we do understand that India and Netherlands have institutionalized innovation collaboration through our platform like the Startup Link. Based on your recent engagements, could you highlight one or two collaborations where the Dutch and the Indian startups have effectively co-created value?
This one? Yes. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for your patience. And it's a pleasure to be here to share our insights with you. First of all, of course, we are very happy to collaborate with India. Our bilateral trade has increased tremendously over the past years, and innovation and startups have played a crucial role in this. And this is much more beyond than just trade. This is also about collaboration, about learning platforms, about exchanging information, about learning with and from each other, because there's a lot of very smart people in this country and in my country as well, so we combine that. And we have a few, institutional basics for that collaboration. We signed a couple of years ago around 23 memorandum of understanding. And these agreements cover critical areas such as healthcare, pharmaceuticals, sustainable food systems, water cooperation, key enabling technologies. In semicon, for example, we will sign an MOU as well. So this is also to give you an idea on how broad the cooperation is. And one of our Dutch health tech startups, which is called Eindhoven Robotics, Eindhoven is the city where the very well-known company Philips is from, received the prestigious METI G20 award during the G20 here in India, recognizing its contributions to medical technology and innovation. And this is also a field in which we seek more deep cooperation with India in the field of medtech. And the Netherlands was also invited as a special guest for the Startup 20 working group, also under the same G20 presidency. So this was also reinforcing the collaboration that we have. But more concretely and more interestingly in that sense, perhaps, is that Richt International is a Dutch company that has a huge plant now in the south of India, in Hyderabad, and they are growing enormously. And this is also a very good example of how we try to attract over 300 engineers, Indian engineers most likely, to work in our company there in Hyderabad, which is also a wonderful idea to further develop the the exchange of information between the two countries. And we also have a visa startup facilitation system with resources as well. So we can also combine the two countries also physically, not online, but also offline by traveling to each other's countries in that sense. And I think one other thing that I would like to mention is that we have had the launch of a soft landing facility in The Hague on cybersecurity, because in this world where geoeconomics or geopolitics is basically changing by the minute, unfortunately, I would say, cybersecurity is getting more and more important for every one of us. So we have also started a cooperation with India in The Hague Security Delta, and 5 of the companies are Indian companies are trying to base there and to work together on cybersecurity as a very important aspect of the collaboration in the startup and innovation field. I think I'll leave it to that here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bernard, for these insightful insights. I think good to know about the examples of companies in Hyderabad, of companies in the Dutch ecosystem who have expanded. With that, I think we've learned how important it is for these partnerships to foster. But what we want to do is dig a little deeper. And with that, Excellency, I come back to you again, to understand if you could shed some light on the key sectors that are driving the startup growth in Finland today. And, how would sectors an Indian entrepreneur would find helpful to expand to the market there?
Yeah, thanks. I think both countries really have strong startup ecosystems, and actually they complement each other. For example, in our expertise in deep tech, artificial intelligence and sustainable solutions align very well with India's strength in scale, software and digital transformation. And talking about Finland's startup growth, I think key sectors include, for example, quantum computing, health, energy, food tech, immersive games, artificial intelligence, data analytics, defense and dual use, as well as new materials. And although we are a small country of only about 5.5 million people, we are home to over 10 unicorns, such as, for example, Rovio, Supercell and Small Giant in gaming, Aura in health tech, Relex in logistics, IQM in quantum computing, and ICE-I in satellite technology. And I think these success stories really highlight the strength of our innovative spirit and our ability to scale groundbreaking ventures as well.
Perfect. Thank you, sir, for that perfect answer, and great to know about the sectors that are a good alignment with the Indian market here as well. With that, I come to you, Bernard, again. I want to understand that the Indian startups, if they do not want to just export, but if they really want to co-create, what they want and what they seek the opportunities are around R&D, pilot testing, innovation sandboxes. So if you could help us understand the Dutch mechanism of the industry linkages that would help the Indian startups here?
Yeah, sure. As I also indicated previously, this is in our mutual benefit and interest to not only focus on trade, because trade is basically just a very small part of it. And it's much more beyond trade, and it's about exchanging technology, exchanging expertise, exchanging best practices. And this is what we're trying to do. First of all, as I mentioned also before, we have centers of institutional facilitators to help startups to come to the Netherlands. And why is this important? This is not only important for Indian startups that want to come to my country, but also for other innovative partners that would like to work with us in the Netherlands, because to keep up the level, and this also goes for Finland, we are both lucky enough to be in the top 10 of the most innovative countries in the world, but that is something that might not be forever the case. So to maintain this level and to maintain our quality of life, to maintain our security, our health as well, our economic position, our trade position, we should invest more in innovation. My country is just a little below what the European Union measure should be like, which is 3% of the GDP. We invest amongst 2.5%. So we should invest more in order to keep the life quality at the level that it is. Finland is doing a little bit better in that sense than we do. I'm not jealous. and in India, there's a lot of room as well to improve and to invest in investing more in innovation, both from the government and from the private sector. So this is also something that we have in common. This is important for everyone. And that's why we also have visa facilitation services with also resources for companies from here that would like to come to the Netherlands. And we have very interesting Indian startups as well. For example, one is called Urivaka Technologies, you know it, yeah? so this is a niche technology for shrimp farming, which has a Dutch mother company, and they have a kind of mechanical feeder on the water, which is called mother pond. It's not very romantic to have a plastic or a steel mother, but this machine really feeds the shrimp in the optimal way, and this helps as well to further contribute to also food security and health indirectly, or maybe directly, probably as well. And then there's also one other last thing that I will mention is the Hague Center for Strategic Studies has also a cooperation with a few very smart people from this wonderful country here to build and construct further enhancements on capacity building in the field of cybersecurity, which is also very important, as I mentioned before. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. So we've learned about what the markets look like both in Finland and Netherlands. We've seen the sectors that are growing. We've heard some success stories, but I still have a minute left. And with your permission, I want to ask a surprise question towards the end. Over a decade of experience in the innovation and entrepreneurship field, I believe that an entrepreneur is an entrepreneur, no matter what geography he comes from or the country. And with such rich experience that we have between the two of you here, I just wanted one piece of advice that you would leave for an entrepreneur to succeed. We can start with Your Excellency first.
Well, it's a little bit difficult for me to advise entrepreneurs, but I really just want to emphasize that, for example, Finland and also the Netherlands really offer also Indian startups access to the European market, also world-class research institutions and business-friendly environment. So I think we also have developed entry programs, for example, Startup Permit program, which then promotes the mobility of Indian startups and entrepreneurs into the Finnish robust startup ecosystem. We have also public and private support mechanisms. On the public side, for example, we have an organization called Business Finland, which provides funding for startups. And on the private side, I already mentioned Slush. And like in the Netherlands, also Finnish cities offer these free of charge soft landing services and various programs we spoke about earlier. So I believe there are plenty of opportunities also for Indian startups to see what Finland and the Netherlands can offer for you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Dave.
I'm looking at this screen which says time's up, so I will keep it short. I think basically a very human thing like curiosity and also understanding the regulatory framework, which is very important, of course, because it's the basis for any kind of establishment of a company or of doing business. And also getting to know the culture. This is all cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a cliche. So it's important to get to also know that in both our countries and in many other northern countries in Europe, we are very direct. It's very consensus-based. People are much less interested in academic titles than in countries like India, for example. So it's good to take these things into account. And the Dutch are very direct. Some people think it's rude, but on the other hand, what you see is what you get. So it's also an advantage. And I think it's the same for Finnish people, right? Yeah. That's about it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, Bernard. I think the audience have really enjoyed the insights that have come up. And one thing is for sure that, innovation does not happen in isolation. It will thrive with the partnerships that we flourish here. So thank you for these insights. With that, we conclude the session for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Asta. Thank you so much for moderating the session for us. So a lot of people probably coming to me and asking me whether all the sessions are happening. Yes, absolutely, you're right. All the sessions are happening. You're on time. So if you have the flow, we are absolutely going with the flow. And we are ready for our next panel discussion. This is going to be about India's climate story and opportunities in green manufacturing ecosystem. Moderated by Ms. Swapna Gupta, whose expertise in sustainability is widely recognized. Our panel features Mr. Mirik Gogri, Mr. Utkarsh Mishra, Ms. Juhi Joshi, and Mr. Karan Mohla. They will outline opportunities in green manufacturing and the path to a sustainable future.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Today we have a very, very interesting panel. One of the panelists is on his way and will soon join us. The panel really is sort of how do we have come so far as a country, but really what's ahead and how do we get there. I think it's very interesting that it's happening today because yesterday Honorable Minister did share that slide which talked about where India is and where India needs to get, and I think this panel is sort of will take pieces and parts of it and discuss how do we really get there. What I will do is to kick off the panel, maybe have each of the panelists introduce themselves for 30 seconds or so that you get to know who they are, what are they doing, and how relevant is their experience to this topic. I'm Swapna Gupta. I'm a partner at Avana Capital. Avana Capital is a large climate-focused early-stage fund in India. We invest very early, about pre-Series A, in early-stage climate companies, anywhere between 1 million to 5 million. Very thematic. Sectors of interest are anywhere from energy to mobility to supply chains, agri, food systems, whatever can really move the needle forward and get us to a sustainable future.
Hi, good afternoon all. I am Mirik Gogri. I wear two hats. I am a principal at Spectrum Impact. Spectrum Impact is a family office which deploys capital across grant, equity and debt, largely in the climate space. We come a bit early than Avana, so we have a lot of partnerships with them. And we are building the ecosystem across various research and technology spaces focused on climate. The other hat that I wear is of RT Industries, which is a publicly listed company in the chemical manufacturing space, where I lead corporate strategy. So there is a understanding of what it takes for large-scale incumbents in this green transition.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Zui Joshi from Climate Collective Foundation. We are an ecosystem builder for early stage climate tech startups. We help to support startups through market accelerators, helping them scale and reach markets. We also help with funding, access to different kinds of funding across startup stages, and as well as really help startups through a lot of other value added services that are needed to build startups and scale startups in the space. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Karan Mola. I help lead investments at B Capital. We are a global fund across both India, Southeast Asia and the US. We invest both. We have different funds for venture and growth. We also have a separate fund for climate. So we invest across life cycles of companies between 1 and 50 million. We've been investing in climate for the last 3 years. We have a separate team that does that. I help lead our climate investments in Asia as well. And you know, one of the things that we work very closely is actually helping companies go global, especially from Asia. So one of the things that we're doing is working with early stage companies and growth companies, both in technology, healthcare and climate, to help them go outside of India. We have a strategic partnership with BCG, which is the Boston Consulting Group, to help do that. So we have a lot of corporate partners as well. And climate is one of our core areas of investments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bharat Mandapam from Bharat Petroleum R&D Center based at Greater Noida. As we all know that we are looking into energy transition, and we are the main people, oil refiners. We are mainly hit by that. And at R&D Center, we are looking into various options and leading the area of energy transition at our corporation level. So I'm involved in green hydrogen, carbon capture utilization, and effectively on what are the options available to develop India-centric solutions for energy transition.
I'm Utkarsh and I lead the global innovation portfolio at Hero MotoCorp. We are the world's largest two-wheeler manufacturers, and it's my absolute pleasure to be here with the fellow panelists.
Thank you. And I think I'm very honored to be in a very diverse panel, from large corporate incumbent to public sector to a large capital player like B Capital, very early stage climate collective, and Mirik, who wears a very unique hat. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention. I think I also see crisis as the moment of innovation. I think we are in a moment of time where self-reliance, self-sustenance has become more important than ever, especially with this week of events and what has been happening in general across the world. I think we are at a moment where manufacturing is a key conversation, key topic across, but also there is this whole conversation, how does this manufacturing really become sustainable, and how do we really build in a way that we are creating a Viksit Bharat, but at the same time ensuring we meet our net zero goals. 2030, 2040, 2050, various milestones along the journey. How do we really achieve that while ensuring the growth is not compromised and we are becoming self-sustaining? A lot of problem statements need to optimize. We are a country, we are very good at optimization. I'm sure we'll optimize for all these variables. So let's start with you, Juhi, right? you come at the earliest stage where you're building this ecosystem. I think we have moved leaps and bounds from a services nation to where we are today. What are you seeing on the ground in terms of innovation, and which makes you bullish that in another 10 years we will be the manufacturing hub for the rest of the world?
So when it comes to deep tech and the manufacturing sector, I think we are seeing slow and steady growth. But just to put things in perspective, if you look at US, 7 to 10% of VC-backed startups are deep tech startups, right? Whereas in India, that number is about 2.5%. Right? The startups that we see in the deep tech space, we do see that the number of climate tech startups in the deep tech space is high. It's about 30%. So definitely there is interest in the climate tech arena when it comes to deep tech, right? But that being said, I think there are less than 10 unicorns in deep tech, right? Which says a lot about how much we need to move the needle towards the deep tech space, right? That's the landscape that we're talking about. When we talk about climate tech, I think, as you rightly said, Swapna, that climate crisis is very apparent, and we know that we need solutions in the space. Now, what's stopping us in that is, I think, just more allocation to research within universities. We do have a good network now of universities that are focusing on research, but definitely infrastructure upgradation is required to work on those. We need greater collaborations and sustained collaborations between industries and academicians, because we know that there needs to be early on collaboration with what the industry needs, so that they reach a particular scale to actually, get deployed as soon as they're out. There's a pathway there, right? That's also second. I think a lot of work needs to be done with professors to, work with the use cases that come out, and that's also another arena where we need to work. And then I think we need a lot more patient capital, because we see that deep tech requires a long, period where it has to be patient capital that stays with the innovator for long. And we're seeing that there are only very few investors that are invested into the deep tech space. So these are some of the challenges, and then we see that we need an enabling ecosystem that comes in, community events that help, a lot of value-added services at the right time that help in the entire deep tech journey. So that would be.
Thank you, Juhi. You are helping me moderate this panel very well, which means when you talk about capital, I have to put Karan on spot. So Karan, you represent B Capital, large sums of capital, you invest across sectors. But I think we are at a moment where climate tech has moved beyond, say, solar project financing projects, which large infra guys were doing, to mobility, which was the theme for last 5-6 years, to newer innovations. Maybe it happens around circular economy, materials, energy storage, built environment. As you see the landscape changing, and as you think about capital allocation from your point of view, what are those areas where you see large opportunities where capital of B Capital and similar large investors will come to play, and how should startup ecosystem think about it?
Yeah, no, it's a very good question. So I think till maybe 3-4 years back, I don't think we thought of climate-related investing as a core part of what we should be doing, and that changed for a few reasons, which can be its own panel. So I won't get into that, but I think what's where we are today is it is one of the 3 core areas that we look at, both in the US as well as in India, across stages, and we.
Please put your hands together for our visionary panelists, Mr. R.K. Chaudhary, Chairman and Managing Director, NHPC Limited. Mr. Ajit Kumar Mishra, Executive Director, Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India. Mr. Manoj Majoka, Chief Manager Contract, Indian Oil Corporation. And Mr. Anirudh Bishnoi, CGM at THDC. Welcome, gentlemen, and over to you, Tripti.
I hope it has been quite inspiring listening to our past panelists, and as a part of organizing committee of Startup Mahakumbh, I feel so proud. I don't know how many of you have been to Chitex Dubai. Any one of you? 2 people. I've been going there for last 2-3 years, and every time I used to go and I used to wonder, why not in India? You know why? Maximum participants are Indians, maximum exhibitors are Indian. We are making Dubai rich, although we should be here, right? So I'm so proud that we could build and bring such an amazing audience here, and we are very proud for you to be sitting all day and listening to us, but I'll make sure that this panel will really have a lot of takeaways for you. With this, I would really like to say, how many of you are aware about 25% mandatory procurement from MSME? How many of you? See, 4 of you are aware that only, at least minimum 25% of MSME procurement is mandatory for every public sector undertaking, right? How many are aware about 3% mandatory procurement out of that for women-owned businesses? How many women are there? Are you aware? You're not aware. Okay, so now you know that today panelists are of great value to you, because every one of you today will be highlighting what opportunity we bring to the table today. We have with us NHPC Chairman, Chaudhary sir, over to you. I would like you to share about the opportunity we are talking about your procurement of last year, and if we even target 1% of it, that is what we are talking about right now. I hope you will be understanding that revenue brings you funding, right? Funding cannot bring you revenues. So I hope you're serious about this panel. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. NHPC, it is a premier Government of India organization. Basically, we are engaged in the development of renewable energy, mainly hydropower projects, pumped storage scheme, and solar and wind power. So, we are in the generating company, and we are bound by the government guidelines, and whatever our annual procurement is there, out of that 25%, that is at least 25%, is mandated to be procured from MSMEs. So out of 25%, now we are exceeding. Many years we are not able to meet, but now we are able to meet that. So, out of that 25%, 3% is reserved for women entrepreneurs, and 4% is mandated for SC/ST entrepreneurs. So, because we are very large hydropower utility, our last year annual procurement was 1200 crore, around 1200 crore. So out of that means 25%. So more than 300 crore. We did our procurement through MSME. This year our figure will be more. So it is around 1600 crore. So 1600 crore, you see at least 3% for women entrepreneur. That means 48 crore, 50 crore. What was happening that during the initial stage, we were defaulting because no women entrepreneur, no SC/ST entrepreneur, no MSME entrepreneur were coming out. We are procuring the materials through GEM portal. So GEM portal, we are uploading our requirement, our procurement bid, and the MSME or the women entrepreneur, SC/ST entrepreneur were not responding. Then we did many vendor interaction meet, many vendor interaction, especially women entrepreneur. So our head office is, NHPC's head office is in Faridabad. So we did our vendor meet in Faridabad, at different other places also. Now the response is very good. So otherwise, not meeting the criteria as fixed by the government is a default. And default, that means there will be less marks because our performance of the organization, that is outstanding performance or very good or good, it depends upon the fulfilling the government criteria. So on this account, there was a problem and we are not meeting the target. Since last 2 years, we are exceeding the target. So 25% is the minimum. That means it should not be less than 25%. It can be more than the 25% from MSME. So that is good opportunity for many of the small entrepreneur, mini, micro, small entrepreneur, and especially good opportunity for women entrepreneur. Since we are in the power generation, so we have 28, 29 operating power stations. So for maintenance of the power stations, we require lot of spares, lot of equipment. And for construction of, we are also in the field of construction of hydro projects. So for the construction of project also, we need lot of materials, chemicals, construction chemicals or construction materials during the construction of the project. So what figure I mentioned you, that is the pure procurement. The
Excluding the crude.
Yes, procurement of the construction project, it is beyond that.
Right.
So that is good opportunity for the enterprises.
Right,
Okay.
sir. So thank you so much, sir. I hope when sir was saying MSME again and again, small entrepreneurs, I hope you know that you all are eligible for that. With this, I would like to go to Mishra, sir, from the FCC. Again, a huge opportunity in procurement. So, you know, there is an opportunity, but there is also an additional opportunity of innovation and technology. Many of you are actually working in innovation and technology. Mishra sir, we were just talking about this example which you were giving. If you can share the kind of opportunity which are there with your organization, what all exemption can people expect when they're talking about startups, is what we would like to hear from you, sir. So it's on. It's on.
So, thank you, Tripti, and thank you, the organizers, for having this kind of Mahakumbh. We just concluded one Mahakumbh at Prayagraj, and it really looks like the same Mahakumbh. Yeah, so that shows the interest of the young generations in looking for the opportunities. I am working as Executive Director in Dedicated Freight Corridor. It's one of the public sector under Ministry of Railways. And in every government organization, what Chaudhary sir was talking about the procurement policies regarding MSMEs and all those policies are applicable across all ministries, across all public sector. So those policies are applicable in me also. I don't want to repeat that. What I like to tell and add is every procuring entity has a responsibility to develop new vendors in their process. For that, they are authorized by Ministry of Finance, General Finance rules, and also the Ministry of Finance procurement rules to go for certain level of procurements where no eligibility criteria, no experience is required. That means any new vendor can come and after following certain procedural thing, he can be a successful bidder and get the work allotted to them. Work, consultancy or goods, whatsoever is the kind of procurement, he is there. So that's the generic guideline from the Government of India, applicable all across the ministry. Now the specific about the MSMEs and startups. About MSME, Chaudhary sir has already mentioned. Let me mention you about the startups. I have seen some of the procuring entities putting certain restrictions on its startups.
like they are asking for some experience or all. So if you are asking for experience from a startup, that's kind of dichotomy, isn't it? The startup is starting something, so from where he will bring the experience? It's like the young graduate coming out of college and then employer is asking, where is your experience certificate? So we are not that rigid, or but every procuring entity should be sensible towards that. And Government of India's guidelines, procurement guidelines, are responsive to that. So to support startups, what the first criteria or first entry barrier which government has removed is to remove the bid security, or any kind of security which a bidder is required to submit when he is submitting, say, tender forms. So no security, bid security is required for startups. So all he can do now on online procurements, the cost of tender form is also free. So all he has to do is he has to procure a certificate from DIPP that they are startups and just they can participate. So that's, and if following the procedure, if their prices are matching with the other fellow startups or other bidders, they will be successful. So that's the normal conventional route of entering a startup into the government procurement system. Now, in this entire process, the innovation, the new thinking, all those things are missing. Why missing? Because what a startup did at this time is he responded to what was floated as a tender and he filled up his application. What is actually required, or what will be the actual or the high level role of a startup which they should play, is that they should come up with the new ideas, new innovation, and they should pitch for that towards those public procuring entities. Like we all are sitting who are from the services of the government or public sector. If you expect certain level of innovation from us, I think I'm not sure about my fellow panelists, but I'm sure about myself, my idea of innovation will be very belittled. I'm not sure of my idea. But you young people are buzzing with those ideas. But you will, as I said, you will respond only when whatever tender I have floated. So what your idea will do? For that, my suggestion would be that you identify whatever idea you have, whatever startup you have, and who are potential consumers of your idea. Then you approach different, say if you want to work in Ministry of Railways, they're like in my ministry, you approach to those public sector or public procuring entities into the railway sector, you float your ideas, you go and discuss with him, had a platform like this where you float your idea and try to convince that procuring entity to go for or advertise a procurement requirement suiting to your idea. Like for example, as I said, I am from railways. One of my job is to operate the train. For safe running of operation, I need to inspect the track and keep that in, say, safe condition. The inspection of railway tracks and assets, how it had been done, you know, since 1851 it has been done through manual means. People walking on the tracks is doing the inspections.
And that also carrying a 30
kg weight on his
manually.
shoulder.
They are doing it. They need innovation.
To visualize, and you can see the 50, 60, 50, 55 years old guy, what will be his eyesight? God knows how those things are running into the system. I mean, what a new startup can propose, or like we are working based on obviously the suggestions from the new generations like you, that we have drones. What drones we are using is just using the wedding photography or something, new concepts, or why not use those drones, those cameras in inspecting the things, sending those photographs to your server room, matching those with the potential or idealized fault or missed errors, and then you identify that which location, what kind of defects was there in the track. So we are working on this inspection methodology with a startup. So that is one area where you can work. And when we are working, that is, we are still working at a very small area. The Indian railway track is over 60,000 route kilometer. You just think if you are developing this idea, where your startup will go. Your startup will be much bigger than any corporate of the India.
Yeah.
So this is the opportunity. So again, if you have certain idea which you can work in, so hydropower, you approach to the department of Chaudhary sir, you pitch your idea to them and say that, sir, you float your requirement and then we will participate, we will help you out. So it's win-win situation for both. Like we are also getting new idea, we are getting those services, and you are getting your business. So that is the opportunity for you.
Thank you so much. I think it is very, very important to note what sir said, that he would or the department would not be able to think. If you have an idea, you can always mail me and we can share with relevant departments. Please, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's very easy. I'm very quick in my response. My team is also here. Shrishti, can you stand? If in case you feel, today we have DFCC, we have NHPC, we have THDC as well, and we have Indian Oil. So in case you feel there is some innovation which you are doing which can actually be implemented, you have some idea, please message us or reach out to my team. We will definitely ensure. That's why we are here today. With this, I would like to move to Anirudh sir from THDC. It is a subsidiary of NTPC. All of you must have heard about. Sir, we would like to understand from you the opportunity again, but as you were sharing, with you it's not just a direct opportunity, it's also indirect opportunity because you are into consultancy business. You advise so many projects. So there is not only with you, but also where you are advising. So we would like to have your ideas on this.
Thank you, ma'am. First, let me introduce myself and my organization with the audience. I am Chief General Manager in TAGC India Limited. It's a hydro specialist organization like NHPC. NHPC certainly is a very bigger in size. We are little small. Now, what I am really happy to see that the gathering from such a young generation I am seeing, it's really a matter of pleasure. Me and my organization have always been open to the new generation and the new ideas. Before going to the statistics, what we have been doing or what we have done, I would certainly start telling you certain areas of new innovations where you can come up in hydro sector. As sir was telling, in case of railways, there was a very orthodox method. Similarly, in case of hydro, it is also the same story. Many of the areas we are still doing with the very conventional methods. Now, as sir told that there is this drone technology. So digital elevation model method with the LiDAR equipped, if it is with the LiDAR survey, you can reduce the time of surveying and this assessing the issues, all these within, to the level of 10% only. So department is always open, and these are very small, investment options. You can come up with a very small investment, these LiDAR groups, You can come up with the explorations. Nowadays, more than 100 pump storage plants government is intending to construct. So you can come up for the consultancy works with the soil, exploration of the areas. They are very small, works which makes one a big lot. So in that case, I share with you that in case of, as DMRC and other departments are doing, they are doing now the precast lining, precast concreting. So earlier it was almost a saga that we used to transport the cement, we used to transport the sand, we used to transport something, and then we used to, construct in situ construction at the site for the hydro. Now you can, if the project is inside, from a railhead about 200 kilometer, you can construct a yard at the railhead only, and you can make the precast components that can be transported over there. So there are many ideas because time is less. So if you come to me personally, it will take days.
Yes, so we will definitely take up more. I would like to now quickly, because we are short of time, so we would like to go to Manojji. Manojji is from Indian Oil. I think we've been working for last 7 years together to help women to achieve women-owned businesses target of 3%, and it has been a wonderful experience because Manojji come forward and give us what are the opportunity, like sir has been speaking about, everyone is talking about. So with this, Manojji, if you can share few examples which are very very quick for people to get into, and what has been your experience, that would be really great. I would like to really share with you that we recently with Manojji helped a woman to grab an order of 12 crore. She is making drums. So they got an order for Indian Oil recently just because of the guidance of Manojji. With this, I would like to hand over the mic to Manojji to share his views in the limited time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. जितने मेरे यहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेंट्स बैठे हुए हैं, सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है कि आप इनोवेशन तभी दे पाएंगे जब आप उस इंडस्ट्री की इंफॉर्मेशन रखते हो. इंडियन ऑयल 1959 में प्रेजेंट शेप में जैसा चल रहा है वैसे 1959 में फॉर्म हुआ था. रिफाइनरीज डिवीजन में इंडियन ऑयल मथुरा रिफाइनरी डिवीजन में पोस्टेड हूँ, और मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि जैसे तो एक अभी डायरेक्टली ये मिला, और हमने काफी टेंडर निकाले जिसमें कि अपने टेंडर्स में हमारे टेंडर 2 कैटेगरी के होते हैं. एक होता है क्रिटिकल एंड नॉन क्रिटिकल. नॉन क्रिटिकल टेंडर में स्टार्टअप्स को कोई एक्सपीरियंस की जरूरत नहीं है, ना ही उसको कोई टर्नओवर की जरूरत है, ना ही कोई एक्सपीरियंस की जरूरत है. इस पोस्टिंग के पहले, मथुरा की पोस्टिंग के पहले मैं डिगबोई रिफाइनरी में पोस्टेड था, इंडियन ऑयल डिगबोई इन डिब्रूगढ़. वहां पे हमने सेम इसी कैटेगरी में नॉन क्रिटिकल टेंडर में फ्लोट किया था, और उसमें स्टार्टअप्स ने पार्टिसिपेट किया विद DPIIT का सर्टिफिकेट जो आप घर में बैठ के बना सकते हो, वो सर्टिफिकेट लगाया उन्होंने. उनको कोई एक्सपीरियंस की और किसी चीज की जरूरत नहीं थी, और उसी में बाकी लोगों से उन्होंने कम्पीट किया. कम्पीट करके L1 फिलोसफी में L1 होके उनको वो ऑर्डर गया. दैट ऑर्डर वैल्यू वाज अराउंड 1 करोड़. उन्होंने पेवर ब्लॉक का एक ऑर्डर लिया था. सो इस टाइप के इंडियन ऑयल में जैसे एग्जेम्पशन की बात हुई स्टार्टअप्स की, स्टार्टअप में इंडियन ऑयल वो सारे एग्जेम्पशन आपको देता है, जैसे कि टर्नओवर की जरूरत नहीं है, देन आपको कोई एक्सपीरियंस की जरूरत नहीं है, आप हमारी इंडियन ऑयल की साइट से या जेम साइट से डायरेक्टली टेंडर देख सकते हो, तो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है. और अगर कोई भी दूसरी इंफॉर्मेशन की जरूरत होगी तो मैं अपने नंबर शेयर करूंगा फ्यूचर में.
Thank you so much, sir, for winding it up so quickly. I would just conclude this session in 30 seconds by handing over the mic to Chaudhary, sir. But before that, I hope all of you have registered for MSME, NSIC registration and Startup India. That's what I would say. And over to you, Chaudhary, sir, for the closing remarks.
Thank you. I will add whatever I have spoken earlier, and many things has been explained. that there are so many promotional policies by the government for MSME, for startups. I will say one example. One startup came with to us that, sir, you are wasting so much of time for taking the runner of the turbine and repairing it. So I will provide you the bolted runner. So bolted runner, you can just remove the particular part of the runner and then you can repair it quickly and fix it. So out of our R&D fund, so every organization, so I will inform the all startups that every organization is mandated to spend 2% of their profit in innovation, R&D works, research and development works, innovation works, technological advancement works related to their business area. So whatever the business area ours is, so out of our profit, 2% we can spend on the such innovation and R&D. So it is a good opportunity for the startups to use those funds to approach the industry, approach the organizations that please see, we want to help you in your business area like this. We want to increase your efficiency. We want to increase your productivity of your business, and with such innovations or with such technological advancements. So
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you everyone for being a patient listener. Thanks a lot everyone on the panel for being here and taking out time. Thanks a lot once again. Bye-bye.